outrage and condemnation around the world.
Israel's month-long pounding of Gaza shocked many people around the world. Mass demonstrations have been held in many of the world's major cities.
But in the United States, the story was different. Polls showed the American people holding firm in their support for Israel.
This is the latest CNN ORC poll of Americans. Shows 57% of those polls say Israel's action in Gaza is justified. 34% say unjustified.
These numbers were striking, but they weren't new. Over the course of a conflict in which Palestinian casualties have far outnumbered Israeli casualties, the American people have consistently shown far more sympathy for Israelis than for Palestinians.
It's very difficult to divorce public opinion on any question from the media coverage that people rely on to form opinions. And I think the most prevalent lesson from looking at the coverage is that the coverage tends to see this conflict from the Israeli side.
Study after study has demonstrated that Israeli perspectives dominate American media coverage. So by far the most common thing we've heard is that everything comes down to Israel's right to defend itself.
Israel is a state that implements its right to defend itself and its citizens.
It is a talking point that is set from the top, and by the top I mean from the highest officials, government officials who are commenting on this issue, which the media obsessively covers and repeats.
A man's got to do what a man's got to do, and you'd say a country's got to do what a country's got to do. We have to defend ourselves.
In the most recent war in 2014, when we looked at mainstream media outlets, almost by a margin of 3-1, Israeli spokespeople were overrepresented compared to Palestinian spokespeople. So almost every time you turned on the screen, there was an Israeli representative on the screen telling you Israel is the one that's in a position of defense. It is being attacked.
And basically Israel is saying, hey, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that if rockets fly on your head, you're allowed to defend yourself.
Add to this the fact that you have American elected officials also reinforcing Israel's right to defend itself.
As I've said many times, Israel has a right to defend itself against rocket and tunnel attacks from Hamas.
And you hear some of the same framing by anchors who reiterate and reinforce many of the same talking points that the Israeli official spokespeople are making.
Israel has the right to defend itself against Hamas, of course, a group that is firing rockets on Israel coming out of tunnels to attack Israelis.
That imbalance there was very significant in shaping the way the public understood this